guys, I've got the LFX engine now in the shop, and I'm going to do the timing today on the LFX. This motor has forged rods, molten rods. It's got King race bearings throughout. It's obviously been reconditioned at a machine shop, and then the pistons have been rebalanced along with the rings. I think are still not too much in the aftermarket realm. So the pistons I kept GM stock pistons. I mean, for my application, I didn't think I need to spend another, $1,500 to $2,000 on race pistons. I'm not going for that much of extreme horsepower. Even the weight, maybe a little bit obviously lighter on aftermarket pistons, it's just not necessary in my case. So crank's been redone and it's been repainted, which is nice touch too. I wasn't expecting that, but Tracy Lewis, when he put this together, he went ahead and painted it for me, so I appreciate that. So what I've done is to prepare for the timing component set install is go ahead and lay out everything necessary that will benefit me, because I have had this motor apart for maybe a year at least, and I don't remember how everything went back together to precision, exactness. I don't want to guess at all. And secondarily, I don't always want to rely on Google or AI for my information. So I actually print off all my articles from ALLDATA. The DIY, it's like $20 a month, and then you can have all the torque specifications listed on each page. It will explain the detail of where the left side intake differs from the right side intake in detail. It's not vague at all. Even on the installation guides, and just some reminders of things I needed to do. I needed to torque the cam caps. I'll have information. Okay, I'm going to be changing out the camshaft actuators, and you need to take a wrench that will fit on the hex portion on the front of your camshaft, and then you have another 16 millimeter on the bolt head that holds it in. This is actually recommended procedure on that. So I don't use the tool to hold the camshafts while tightening or loosening anything that's high torque. We will use it for setting the timing, but just not for torque situations. I've done that in the past, and it actually broke one of these cheaper metal ones when I was torquing it down one time. Oh, this is a different car. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and replace these two front head bolts. They're the smallest ones in your cylinder head. And this is completely clean, free of debris. Obviously it's been washed. Alright, so on this cylinder head, we've got exhaust, we've got your exhaust here. So this is our exhaust manifold. Our downpipe comes from here. So this is our exhaust camshaft. Intake manifold comes here. So this is going to be our intake cam. So we need to find the proper intake actuator camshaft and the proper one for the exhaust. Now the exhaust, by looking at the information I have available from the manufacturer, on the exhaust they use identical pieces of hardware, same exact actuator. So you can't get these two mixed up on the right side or the left side. However, on the intake there is a left and there is a right, and so I'll show you how to differentiate between those according to the literature there. Where you need to go. And they've got the dowel pins, which I don't think you can put these on wrong. The dowel pin will be inserted in this groove here. Got left intake. Just set that on there. Foot-pound for torque. So cautions: use an open wrench on the hex cast into the camshaft in order to prevent camshaft rotation when tightening camshaft position actuator bolt. Apply a liberal amount of lubricant to the back of the camshaft position actuator, which is already on there, and the front of the camshaft bearing cap, which was already on there. For installation, we're going to tighten the actuator bolt to 43 foot-pound. .43 foot-pounds according to GM. And okay.
God alone, oh my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from Him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress, I shall not be shaken. On God rests my salvation and my glory, my mighty rock, my refuge is God. Trust in Him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before Him. God is a refuge for us, Selah. Those of low estate are but a breath. Those of high estate are a delusion. In the balances they go up. They are together lighter than a breath. Put no trust in extortion, set no vain hopes on robbery if riches in...
I can't hardly reach that one. I have to carefully just kind of dry it to extend them. Here we go. Okay. That looks dry. Here you go. So there is the grooved side of the washer. That's going to go on the cylinder head, and then that's a smooth side where the nut is going to meet that. I don't think we put any lube on there yet, torque lube. Let's see. lubricate the stud threads and bottom of the nuts. So no, we don't. You place the washer over the clean, dry spot faces first. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2. This is a little hard to get to. Ooh, that's really hard to get to. All right. All right, guys, and we're going to go on to the right side and remove the old camshaft actuators. Got both those loose. Exhaust manifold, downpipe. I'm going to pull up the exhaust actuator and old bolt. Intake. We can finally look at the stamped circle. Again, this has an R, but if it did not, there is the stamped circle. We can see it. So the orientation is where it's fully visible. Okay, we have fully visible on right side intake, as we discussed earlier. Make sure it's positioned as such. You can see it in its full stamp right there. So these must be installed correctly. All right, both these are used, and we're going to set these off to the side. We'll get the new ones out. They are already oiled. It's already sent a little bit of moisture in here. I'll have to wipe that down. here's going to be the torque specs in 3 steps. First, we'll go for the sequence in 25 foot-pounds, then 50 foot-pounds, and the final between 70 to 80 foot-pounds. And then lastly, you can tighten down the 28 foot-pound outer bolts, which are the smaller 8mm, I believe, on those. Let me get that available, you can see that. And then I'm also going to end up writing that down on the literature that I carry too. So 25, 50, and 75. We'll get set up for 25 first. Set up for a second. Recalibrate. Okay. Go. Inch, pound, foot pound. Alright, 25. And we are going in the circular motion, starting with number 1. Alright, now we're going to work on the right side. And we will have our sequence as follows. Very similar pattern that you see. Looks like maybe a mirror image in the direction, but same pattern. Start back off at 25 foot-pound. And if someone just happened to click on this video and see that I'm tightening these head bolts down, these are the ARP studs with nuts on them. So do not use these torque references for your head bolts. Set. Okay. There we go. Alright, the heads are bolted down. What I need to look at next are the cylinder caps. Alright, so on these torque cam caps, they have a very specific sequence and a little bit unusual. So after you tighten all the cap cams down to 89 inch-pound, then you actually loosen the 2 center cap bolts, 1 and 2 on an intake, and then 3 and 4 right below that on the exhaust. And then you retighten them in order 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're done. So we'll go ahead and do it now. I'm not sure what these bolts are tightened at. This is how it came back from the machine shop. So I'll just start in the order with number 1, which is going to see how many caps we've got. We've got cap, 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 1. Okay, it's 89 inch-pounds, so I don't know if we could be already there. I don't know. No, we're not. All right. Okay, 89. 89. Let's see, what else do we have here? Next, looks like we're going to jump on over to the timing chain installation. So I have a fair amount of paperwork for this too. There is the basics, which is camshaft timing chain component installation, and it goes a brief overview. It doesn't look brief, but there's more information I have printed off in a larger format as well. But this does give you step-by-step instructions the whole way through. From the left side, secondary, primary, then all the way over to the right side. And then if I want to get more in-depth, I've got those printed out as well. So what I'll have to start to do is, I've got them listed in order of 1, 2, and 3, what I need to do. And so this is a larger format of this broken down. So this is a little bit easier for me to see, easier to read. Now you can see the difference. So we'll just start with the secondary camshaft intermediate chain installation left. This is our left. And I probably need to grab a chair or something a little bit more comfortable. Okay. Here we go. So as you can see, I've got everything removed off of here. Looking, all right, so looks like we're going to need special tools, camshaft rotating tools, a crankshaft rotation socket here. Let's see. Important, there should be no need to rotate the camshaft more than 10 degrees. Using the hex cast into the camshaft, rotate the camshaft in order, etc. I see. So if you just pull this off and you had a running vehicle, these should be within 10 degrees. These were completely off, cleaned out. I'm not sure about the orientation. I'll have to use the camshaft tool in the back, and mine may be way more than 10 degrees off. We'll see. Yeah, so my exhaust is probably way off. Because looking at this, make sure I'm on the left side. Left side, yeah. This exhaust cam information should be up here. So I'm really gonna have to rotate. This should be way to the rotation to the right. Well, I'll rotate them all in order, but I am going to have to rotate them with at the hex portion of the crank, the camshaft, and then I'm going to have to look at the correct tool that holds them together, which I have. I hope it's one of these. I thought I had these for my last project, so this could either stall or completely stop me for the next day or two. These aren't correct. I hope they are. Hard to tell which tool that is, but it kind of looks like this if I had to guess. And I can go look and verify. So the orientation should sit like this on the back side of the cam. It will have these notches in the actual cam itself, and they should fit on that. And that's the correct orientation of your cams if they've been taken out and you're reinstalling them for the first time. So that would be correct here, but this cam would be way off. Okay. And then I have to consider the rotation. This intake looks fairly close. Let me see if I have more information on that. All right, so this exhaust cam, right all right, the orientation would go like this, except this cam low, right, or cam is not correct here because there's a flat part on it that needs to be level with this flat. So it should be flat, flat. So I do need to rotate the exhaust cam to where I can see the flat on top. I'll carefully set that down there. And then here's the hex portion. We can rotate the cam. Just try not to let it hit. Try not to let that wrench hit the surface there of the head. So I was trying to be careful with that. All right, here we go. Here's a flat section here. We have a flat section here on the cam, exhaust and intake. Let's see if these line up okay, as intended. Very close. You just got to slightly make an adjustment. That sticks. Let's see. It's really close. Maybe just a hair off. Yeah, that looks right. Looks about right. Huh. Looks like that tool, that's a pretty tight fit. Let me make sure it's in there all the way. We will use a rubber mallet on the tool just to barely tap. Let's see. I feel like this is not on there all the way. Probably not. But we'll just get a little tap. Nah. I'll just kind of lay that flat against there and kind of tap this. Yeah, there it goes. Just a little tight fit, but That's accurate right there. Okay, so that's an accurate fit. As you can see, this is actually all the way against the high side of the cam lobe here, right before it hits the actual lobe itself. There's a large rise there. So those cam are in proper orientation. And we're dealing with the left side install. Alright, so for this left side timing chain, we've got to install the oil pump on first on a bare block. So the benefit of me having instructions from a repair manual is I'm looking for things like washers, anything that could contain oil, sort of O-rings that I might be missing. So I'm going through this as I go. For instance, this is the directions here for the secondary camshaft intermediate drive chain installation left. And then it goes on about how to ensure the timing is done with the oil pump. But since I don't have an oil pump on here, I need to go to the oil pump installation. And since it's been 1 year since I've been taking it all apart, I don't remember all that was on there. So I'm just verifying that there's no additional parts that go on the block or anything between, something I might be missing that didn't come with the kit. So far it looks good. I've got the new GM oil pump here. It looks like it's bolted directly to the block without any extra gaskets or anything of that nature. See, like even that right there looks like there should be a gasket in this area. Let me see on my old one, which I did keep somewhere around here. Here's the old faithful right there. No, the old one has no seal there. All right, we'll put that back there. There's kind of what I had left behind, and that's actually somehow in order. There's timing cover bolts in order, top, bottom, center, but you know, it's rolled around for a couple times, so that's why I have full instructions on how to complete this properly. Alright, so again we are looking at oil pump installation, and I'll go ahead and put that on. Looks like I may have to, do I turn the crank at all? Yes, I've got to turn that crank. I bet. Let's see. That'd be half moon, then flats. Yeah, I'll need to turn the crank to put this on. Not much, but a little bit. Looks like probably if this is maybe straight up and down, maybe the best way to install it. Align oil pump drive gear with the crankshaft flats. Yeah, you have to align it with the crankshaft flats, so the flats on the crankshaft will be to my right and left. Center there. So it looks like the key right here will need to be facing to the top. Okay, yeah, size 13. We go to 18 foot-pounds. It doesn't show a specific sequence on those. Make sure they're in there. Speed this up a little bit. Alright, so 18 foot-pounds. That's what we're looking for. 18. That's inch-pound, foot-pound. I mean 18 foot-pound. All right, 17.9 is good. 18.1. The last one. 18.1. Okay. Oil pump bolts are on. So the oil pump installation sheet will be filed away there. Then we'll go back to the secondary camshaft paperwork right here. All right, so let's see what it says now. Okay, we need to put the crankshaft sprocket on there. Align that. Okay. And let me locate that. Okay, and then here's more of the detailed information. There is probably not much to know about this. Here is a crankshaft sprocket installed. The timing mark 1 is visible. So essentially it's just telling you to install it onto the nose of the shaft, align the notch in the crankshaft sprocket and with the pin in the crankshaft, slide it on there until it contacts a step in the crankshaft. Okay, and that you should have the mark visible to you. So there's no mark on this side anywhere. There it is. So slide it over. It didn't say to apply anything to it. Just says put it on. Until it reaches its final destination. Yeah, it's directly against that. So one thing we can do, and maybe beneficial, definitely for a video, but maybe in the future as well, is go to your hardware store or welding shop, get a paint marker. I mean, if you want to make things easy, let's see, let me get this ready. Okay, and just make a little paint mark. It'll dry very shortly, just for high visibility. All right, so we did the install of the sprocket, and on this particular crankshaft sprocket installation, it actually has you go ahead and ensure that the crankshaft is in the stage 1 timing position with the crankshaft sprocket timing mark 1 aligned to the stage 1 time mark on the oil pump cover 2. Okay, so now we need to mark 2. The reference is this particular dot right here in the oil pump. Give that a good mark there. Now we can see a little bit better of where we need to be on our marks. Okay. All right, so we've got our timing mark on our sprocket, and we have our timing mark on our oil pump, which we use with this welding I call it welding, but it's an orange paint marker, but it's usually found in the welding section of your hardware store. And what we need to do to ensure that it's in proper alignment is line those two high visibility dots up. So we'll rotate the crank. That's probably fairly close right there. We'll know once we get into it. So those look aligned to me. Maybe it looks a little strange from the angle of a camera. That's not perpendicular with it, or level with it. Not perpendicular with level. So it'll be this mark here in orange, and this mark here in orange, which I highlighted with our paint marker. Okay. All right, so that's part of stage 1, timing. Install the secondary camshaft drive chain. Okay, here's my second dilemma. I don't have my sprocket on here yet. So we need to back up a little bit. Let me set this back. So sprockets, again, this is an overview. And it's only necessary if you have, if you've got just a quick replacement and you're using the same parts, you don't have to worry about this. But we're putting new sprockets on here. So timing chain idler sprocket installation on the left side and right side. Again, this is left side, LB. Let's look for the LB. LB front, okay? So this has the recessed hub in there. Okay? Say anything about putting any oil or anything? No. Okay. So it's very basic. You just take and ensure this is installed. Into this hole right here. So it's got a little recess. Yeah, it fits right in there. So right in here is where this lip sits in this mount. Okay, so we're going to hand tighten this, and then we're going to 43 foot-pounds. So it has a piece of plastic in there to help guide it through. All right, make sure it's nice and snug on that lip. Okay. It's like maybe a third. No, that may be like a 15. Let me see if that is 16. Here's a 16. Yeah, that's a 16. Alright. So we'll take the 16 and tighten it down a little bit more. Ratchet. Got a 16 millimeter. All right. So seems a little strange that it's not spinning. Is it? Huh. I don't know. I just. That would be really hard for it to turn. Let me see my old setup here. Make sure I've got the right one. All right. So it looks like it's supposed to spin on this washer here. Like, I don't know. It looks like, okay. You sandwich these together, but then you've got, is that right? They both spin. So I feel like I'm missing this right here. That looks like, is that on mine? Let me see if that's on mine or not. I feel like it's not because it should spin. So let me loosen this back up and see if that's what I'm missing. Because something's not right. Something don't feel right. Now let's compare it to this one. So this is different than that. How strange is that? LB front, LB front. Okay, so it was just pretty tight, but it's definitely spinning. What I had to do is tighten it down to its torquing capacity. And it kind of broke it loose, but when it first came, it just was really on there, a little too tight. So LB front, go here. Okay, we're spinning freely now. Then we're going to 16 millimeter, and the idler sprocket bolt is tightened down to 43 foot-pound. Foot-pound, all right. 16 millimeter. $43.7. Go. All right. And looks like that will be it. We could probably go ahead and do the right side over here. That was the left. Since we already have the, yeah, it's so tight. You'd think that this won't spin. You really have to break it free. All right, guys, day 2 in the garage. Day 1 ended with a component failure new from the factory. It was the intermediate sprocket on our right side. Milling was supposed to be the best choice by consumers and professionals, what they tend to have best results with. Now, I did a small amount of research on milling, and so they are a US based family owned company. However, they do have two manufacturing plants, at least one in China and Mexico as well. So on their sprocket, I think that was one. There were 2 or 4 total packages or components that had packaging that said they were from a different origin other than the US. So it did say like Mexico or China, and I'm pretty positive it was one of these. Like, so made in China, right? Not all of that, just, I guess they do that just to warn you. I think it'd be a warning. I hope the quality controls are the same. So, but maybe the difference is that this had problems in shipping, and essentially what happened is this would not rotate on its bearing. It was completely frozen. And so when this was torqued down, the issue was that, let me see if I can pull it out there. Yeah, the issue was it wouldn't turn on its bearing. It was literally frozen in here, seized up. So it would have no rotation. And obviously this is an idler gear, it won't idle. So what I did is I went ahead and took my mallet. Well, I ordered one first to make sure I could get one in a couple days, and I could. Then I took my mallet and just busted it open because I'm like, man, what's going on? It's a factory. You still can't hardly turn this thing to get it out. That's supposed to turn freely. So there's so much damage in there. I'm thinking kind of by the slight amount of corrosion, or what you call it, I think it probably happened maybe during shipping, maybe in a container. I don't know, maybe it had moisture in it, or maybe extreme heat dried out any of the lubrication that should have been in there and seized it up. So even before I hit it with the hammer, I tried to do WD-40 and add a little oil in there to see if I could unseize it first before I broke it apart, and it wouldn't. So I'm like, I'm not going to risk putting something that's so seized. I thought, is there a possibility the timing chain itself and the torque could unseize it? Yeah, but who's going to risk that? It's not worth it. So there you go. It's a broken part. It's made by Milling. I mean, there's their signature right on there. But I think this was from their Chinese factory. And I didn't want to put the old one back on either. So I did go ahead and buy another one from O'Reilly's. I have an account with O'Reilly's. That's the water pump. Where's the clothes? So I had to get a clothes brand. No big deal. So that's where we're at on day 2 in the garage anyway. Took 2 days to get here because they didn't have any in stock. None of our other parts sorted. Okay. That's the new bolt right there. Alright. Back in the mix here. Chain idler sprocket. Right side front. And I went ahead and picked up my oil today too, because once I start spinning these cams out, I don't have the assembly lube on them, but I'm going to go ahead and put some oil in the pan too before I start rotating this considerable amounts. Okay, let's see if we're still programmed on our torque wrench here. 43.2, that sounds accurate. Idler sprocket's 43. File that over there for the future. Number 16 millimeter socket. Good. All right, so I'm going to start setting a few things out of the way off this table and put it on the back end where I'm putting all my used parts at. All right, I think the first step, yep. So I've also got the steps, as I may have shown earlier, I can't remember in the video, that I do have steps 1, 2, and 3. Just a quick note on my paperwork over there, easy to find. This is where we left off. So I knew it was going to be out for a couple days and kind of put some oil on these rags and left them covered instead of putting the valve covers on them. And just because of condensation in this metal garage. But it never did get to really hot temperatures, and I never saw any condensation when I came back in here, so that was good. But for precautionary purposes, and we did put our camshaft holding tool on the back already, which aligns these two front actuators where they need to be for timing. Let's see. We installed our oil pump and we highlighted the timing marks with our orange marker. Next, we want to install, we installed our intermediate sprocket here. Both have a little play so they can spin freely. We installed both the sprockets. Alright, install secondary left camshaft drive chain. And we're going to start with putting it on the inner sprocket of the left camshaft intermediate drive chain idler here. And it looks like it's going to go on the back of the sprocket there. So we got our front teeth here, and then there's the back as well. And the first chain application is going to go on the back side. Alright, I've chosen the correct chain here. The yellow would go in this window down here in the idler sprocket, and the two pink ones, I mean it could be different colors in your case, but the ones that are closest to each other are what's actually going to go on the specific indicators on these wheels. So I think we need to come underneath here first though, because that would be hard to come around and wrap around this sprocket here. So we probably go on the back side here first. Okay. And there's that little window down here. That looks accurate from my perspective. And then, there we go, now it's on there. Now I'm just going to temporarily put this on here and verify my paperwork. Okay. So on this paperwork, you've got an indicator right here. It's showing number 2 is a indent or a stamp on this exhaust wheel. Exhaust EX on this side. And let's get a closer view. So here's the indicator mark and where our color link chain is going to go. And let's look on our intake and see. So intake is the same way. We're looking for the same stamp indicated in number 1, that circular stamp on the wheel. And color link is also going to go in here. We can verify. Yep, we can verify that. Now, thirdly, like I was mentioning, we need to verify this link though. The indicator link, excuse me, the indicator hole needs to be properly aligned. I think it will be. I might have to move this camera back, but. And here we go. I need 2 hands for this one here. Alright. It is a matter of holding that on there. Because I don't have any of my guides on there. Yeah. I just want to see what it looks like one link over. Just to kind of see that, yeah, that should be accurate right there. Yeah, because on that yellow link, the lower link, I'll have to recheck it in a second after I put a some type of guide on there. All right, so that was it for the first install on the left side prior to putting any guides on there. We have our secondary chain shoe installation left side. Ensure left secondary camshaft drive chain shoe is being installed. Number 2. $18 foot-pound. Okay, so it doesn't look like these came. These two either, yeah, they did not come with respective bolts. And we'll go back over here to the drawer. And let's be top here. Here we go. Find this specific shoe. Right. That was got the more metal look. Okay. Huh. That looked like it right there. I'm dropping stuff. Alright, let me get a handle on this. Let's verify. Okay, so that's nice. Now this melon is made out of metal. This GM is plastic. Is it? No, this was a Chloe's. That's a Chloe's brand. Labeled right here. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Upgrade. Back to business here. That looks identical. I'm just double checking. Feels correct. Looks correct. Okay. This will go in the trash. Alright, so this is shoe number 2. Goes in this direction. Guide is here on this shoe. So it has to be directly in the middle. I'm going to take this out first. Chain is right in the middle of this. And then I'm going to look at this yellow link. Make sure it's still in line there. And there's an 18 foot-pound. looks like a 10. Maybe size 10. Here's a 13. That's way big. Let me find my number 10 socket. Secondary camshaft drive chain shoe insulation, and it is going to be 18 foot-pound. I tend not to use power tools on the timing. It does make for a faster video and speeds it up a little bit. I mean, if you have it set on the lowest possible RPM or torque setting on your Milwaukee or DeWalt, whatever you use, I mean, you probably get to where you need. It's not a big deal. But I really just like using hand tools on the timing components. Again, it's not 100% necessary except for the torque values. 18 foot-pounds. I'm just not in a hurry on this build. This thing's been apart for so long. No reason to rush it now. Alright, 18, make sure it says foot-pounds, and it does. There we go, 617.9. Okay, so secondary shoe is done. Now there's one more chain guide and we've got the secondary cam drive shaft shoe bolts 1 and 2. All right, so the other guide, so I pulled this out of, because I didn't have the primary paper for this. This is part of the whole entire installation manual. That's why I have backups. So like this product was made in Taiwan. And these are also 18 foot-pounds as well. It shows installation, which this one has the bolts in it, comes and looks like right here. So the chain we're going to have to put on the inside of this rail here. These are 18 foot-pound, 10 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and set this behind here first and then bolt it up. Yeah, it looks kind of, I have to push that up, not sitting. A little bit of play. I mean, oh wait, no, we're good. I'll slide in there. Okay, I think I can get it. Yep, there we go. All right. Yeah, I do need this to come over somewhere. So I guess my plan is, that link is still perfectly aligned. Everything else is aligned. And this is the correct installation way to do it too. So I've got, show this coming on first in here, which makes sense because that lip back there would be really hard to fit it in if you put that side on first. We'll see. All right. Let's go ahead and torque those down to the 18 foot-pound. Okay. So it looks like the only thing we have left to do is choose the proper tensioner. Okay, so it was just it's pretty tight fit here. A simple fix. This is cast there. I mean, I'm just gonna take this pry bar and just barely, I mean, it's a good, nice fit in there, very tight. There's no edges on anything. Just barely move the shoe over. Right there. Okay. Then we'll tighten these down. It was just too tight of an area. Keep hand tightening these. Let's see, where's my 10? Newton meters, inch pound, 81. All right, the lowest inch pound is 60, and it's suggesting 44. I mean, I'm good with 60. Yeah, I'm saying, if I'm not already there, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, there ain't no way you can hand tighten that and not just get down to business right away. All right, let's go back to foot-pound. And 18 foot-pound on the second pass. Okay. All right. All right. Now, pull out the tensioner, release the drive chain. So you tighten the drive chain tensioner bolt in 2 passes as shown. Release the drive chain tensioner by pulling out the tensioner retraction pins and lock in tensioner plunger. Verify the left secondary camshaft chain timing marks or alignment. Okay. I'm gonna double check now. Now, hopefully it should be accurate. And we'll release the pin. Okay, we've got everything seated like it's supposed to be for right now. When I pull that tool off the back, it will just tightened up. So we're going on to the primary camshaft intermediate drive chain installation. We installed this earlier, 43 foot-pounds on that bolt. We're still in stage 1 timing. So we have not turned our crank whatsoever in correlation to this oil pump. Let's see. We verified that we have a yellow link centered in this see-through hole here. And we've got both our color links on both where the stamps are, circular stamps are on the sprocket of those camshaft actuators. 18 foot-pound on these 2 bolts here for that chain guide. And it does show that you could, maybe that you should install this one first and then this shoe next. So I did that out of order. I guess it didn't make any bit of a difference per se. Now onto the primary camshaft chain installation. We're going to follow this procedure. Wrap around the chain drive, run the large sprockets on each camshaft intermediate drive chain idlers and the crankshaft sprocket. Now the left camshaft intermediate drive chain idler, mark 2 in this particular. So I've got there's a mark. In this case, it is this arrow on here, and looks like there we have a mark here as well, and our mark on our sprocket on our crank. So we should align all 3 marks on this drive chain, on the actual chain itself, should line up with those. So let's see if we can pull that off. 3 marks, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Off the right chain. So a previous note on this chain and this chain is there should be 10 links separating these 2 colored links. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in between. So that ensures you're using the right chain and you've got for the correct application. Okay. We'll just see how this slides on over here and go from there. Looks like this would be I guess since this is stationary and this one's stationary, probably should line those 2 up first, is my best guess. I can come up with. Best guess, let's see. And this one would rotate. Okay. So here we go. We've got an arrow on this idler sprocket, an arrow on this idler sprocket, and let me see. We can look it down here. There's my stage 1 timing mark, and it lines up also with that yellow link. So that is accurate for the primary chain. All right, time mark, we did that time mark. Okay, next we're going to put on the primary camshaft drive chain lower guide. Is number 1. Let me locate that over here. It has the correct appearance. Yeah. Okay, this appears to be correct. This is a stamped mailing product. You can say the origin of build. And it looks like it goes right here. And the bolt gets tightened down to 18 foot-pounds. And the chain would sit right underneath this shoe here. So I probably need to take these bolts out so I can slide it under there. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna check my bottom length there, make sure we haven't moved. I don't think it did, but no, we're still good. All right, 18 foot-pounds. Looking, we're back down to the 10. Okay, 18. 18.1. 18.7. Next, we've got the upper primary camshaft drivetrain guide with bolt, 18 foot-pound. And let's see what I have left over here. Okay, this one, stamp milling, no origin. Looks like I need my old bolts for this one. All right, go back over here and see what I've got. What do I have? Here we go. Looks right. Okay. Does that look right? No. That's definitely not the right one. That was the other one I just did. Okay. Grabbed the wrong one. Oh. I get it. I don't need that. That's comes with the pump. So this was if you were replacing this off your old pump. Okay. Well, so much for that one. That's already installed. Okay. What next? The tensioner. Tensioner goes here. Apply the pressure here. Super tight fit. Super tight. But it's behind there, so we just gotta weasel it in there at this point. There we go. Got it. Okay. Still on stage 1 timing. Lined up. Now we're going to 18 foot-pound. 18. 18-1. 18-1. Okay, we're gonna pull that pin probably as the next. I'm just making sure that we don't. All right, tensioner, install block, verify placement, drivetrain. Got the gaskets already on there. Tighten the drivetrain tensioner bolts 2 passes. Release the drivetrain tensioner, pulling out the pin. All right, so we're going to pull the pin now. That's released. All of our marks are lined up. Okay. Stage 1. Good to go. Thing looks solid on that end. Okay. Next is going to be, I guess, stage. Okay, so turn the crank. So I need to remove this back plate here that's holding these camshafts together, because they'll have to be realigned in a different manner. Because this is your right side here, and you can tell by the fuel cam on this diagram. And no longer are you using the vertical, the horizontal planes of this into the camshaft, but you're using an alternate design with a different holding tool. And you take this holding tool which has the 2 flats on the top, and that looks like it transfers over to this one once it gets to the correct position. So I need to remove this first, and this crank will have to be turned. So I did buy the oil over there to start filling this pan up soon, so I don't start doing too many rotations, but I think we're still good with the assembly loop in there right now, so I'm not going to tear anything up. So I need to knock off this plate on my little rubber mallet and just put this towel back here. Let's give it a little tap. A piece of wood. Okay. That's off. And there it is. There's the pressure we were looking for. Okay, this is removed. Like I said, it looks like it's going on that side, in this direction. We'll see. So, I think the bolt was at 19 on the front of the oil pump. That is going to turn the crank. All right. So the new position is this keyway is going to be more on this side of the motor at about the 4 o'clock position, and then I should see that indicator mark that I highlighted with the yellow mark on the sprocket. It should equal up to a, well, a dot down here. Okay, so here's, again, we come with a marker. Let me grab this camera and kind of show you, because I gotta get down, I have to get off the chair. And we're gonna see right in here is we're going to line up the sprocket, orange dot, with this stamped orange dot there that I've made. So the mark was already there on the oil, the indentation was already there on the oil pump. I just marked it. So let me rotate this engine. Okay, we're 19. Okay, that looks about correct there. So the oil pump itself is in stage 2 timing. Now I need to really look at these camshaft actuators, because remember I had this all taken apart, set back in there. All right, so I should be able to get one of these designs, probably this one right here, it looks like, on the back of the left side cams. So this portion, this is a fuel cam. This portion without the tab on the end should go on the fuel side of on the cam. All right, let's see. Yeah, I probably should get some footage of that close. So this is what it's asking to do. So this is where one of your fuel pumps is at. That's why I'm calling this a fuel cam. I don't know if that's really called that. I've heard a reference to it, not regarding this model at all. But I just know that this operates the fuel pump. The high pressure fuel pump specifically. So I'm just saying this is a fuel cam. But this side, which is our left side, should be able to follow this exact pattern in this stamped piece of metal to hold them still. And it looks like we're going to be able to do that with a little bit of... Alright, so I got this plate on. I did have to adjust both cams, like I said, within 10 degrees of each other. So it's not a big movement, but it was enough. And I think if this was machined just a slight bit better, I wouldn't have as much complication. It's extremely tight, so I had to use the hammer with just a little block of wood, just on the plate itself, right here. Give it a good hit so it's nice and tight on there. And I think it's just, like I said, poor quality on the holding component. So again, these heads were fully disassembled, which we've talked about. The whole motor was disassembled, and putting the camshafts back in there. They were just set back in there, not according to any timing concerns at the moment. So what we're looking at now is doing a flat bar, or maybe it could be this one. I'll look and see. It's one of these two. I guess either of them would work in this case. Yeah. This is really for the fuel side cam probably, but I guess you can use it in any case. But this one, we're looking at the tops of the cams to be equal and level with each other. And so it'll be parallel. And then on this side, we've changed it. So this is the angled side, angled cam. And then, the two angles, which are about 45 degrees. So those cams are angled. This cam already has its flat up. There's only one way. There's not two flats on here, so it could be 180 out. It's only one single flat like this. So this is exactly the way the cam looks. So it can only go in one way. So I need to get the flat side of this cam here up on our right side. So I need to rotate the cam with a crescent wrench on the hex part of the cam. So the cam needs to rotate, the quickest rotation. I wonder if you can rotate these cams backwards. I mean, I tend to rotate them in the way that they're going in normal operation. So this way. Is it necessary? I don't know. But it's just, I'm going to do it. So I want to be careful not to let this spring, the pressure, hit the side of the wall with my crescent wrench, like that. So we're good. It's a slight spring to it. Alright, so what I do is I go just a little ways up where it gets tight, and before it clicks over, right before, you have a little bit of space, time for it, and then you can readjust. You can even put a little rag there to help prevent any scarring on the edge. No problem. Okay. Both flats are up. They will be adjusted just slightly, but we're going to look at both flats on the ends of the cams on the right side. And then we'll put our tool on there. So let's grab one of these tools. Call tool. Here. This needs to be just slightly. Okay. See how easy that went on? That should be a comfortable fit, and there's just, like I said, bad machine work on that I had to address there and hit it on there with the piece of wood. So let's see what the intake and the exhaust cam actuators look like. Curious to see the relationship is accurate according to our literature. So let's take a look at this. Make sure everything's lined up. It's going to be all lined up. All right. So we need 2 pinks with 10 chain links in between. And let's see where this lines up down here. So here, with the alignment access hole 3 made in the right camshaft intermediate. So we're looking for the access hole. Okay, there it is, right here. What I'm going to do is make a mark. There, and grab our marker. I'm going to do the very center, bring a line out from the very center of.
All right, guys. So looks like I
that
missed
idler.
one bit of information that's extremely important, and that is the exact location of the timing marks on our right side intake and right side exhaust. And what you're looking for is, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here, is above the word or abbreviation IN for intake. On the milling, they use a triangle imprint or stamp right above this section here. On the older actuators, they actually use a circular imprint in the area where milling has a triangle. So I want to point that out because when you read the literature on this, it tells you to put it where the circular imprint is. But due to the aftermarket, it is a triangle. But what you're really looking for, whether it's a circle or a triangular, is usually the word R is stamped in this general area too, as well on the exhaust side, or either way, it'll be 10 links in between. And you can use the orientation of these wheels as well. So there's a number of things you can look at, whether you use a circle or a triangle. In my case, like I said, it said to use a triangle. Not to confuse matters worse, but there was a triangle and a circle both on the wheels, on the actuators. So I did have to determine which timing marks to use. Milling, it's the triangles. And lastly, even if you accidentally put it on the circular ones, your timing chain link here would not line up with this opening in this idler sprocket. So it wouldn't match all 3 timing marks if you were on the wrong stamps on your wheels, assuming that your cams are lined up accurately. So that needed to be said.
Number
and
2,
let me go back.
So here, with the alignment access hole 3 made in the right camshaft intermediate. So we're looking for the access hole. Okay, there it is, right here. What I'm going to do is make a mark. There, and grab our marker. I'm going to do the very center, bring a line out from the very center of that idler wheel right there. And that is where this is going to line up. Once we have all, should be just like that. Once we have our chain guides down. All right, so we've got that marked. You check 10 links in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure we have the right chain on. And then grabbing off a different vehicle. Then we're going to do the drive chain guide number 1. Drive chain guide number 1, which has only one mounting bolt. So here. And again, we have a all metal designs on these versus the sort of plastic that we had in our previous timing chain. So we need a bolt for this one. It's the one that just has one. And I took the other one out and threw it down there already so I wouldn't be in danger of using the wrong bolt in there. Let's see, that one looks a little short, but is it the only one left I have that has one in there? It looks like so. That one's okay, so maybe a little bit longer design, but there's no other option in here. And the bolt style is exactly the same, so we're going to snag this bolt out. And even where the plunger hits, so that was a plastic plunger detonation area, and this is a metal. Alright, paperwork says this is the call out and component names. I wonder if, yeah, it's hard to tell which of them want you to install first. I mean, it does have a call out. I'm supposing that's what we're doing here. But it also has a, not really a direct order though. So I'm going to find out what should be the hardest to put on last. Like that looks like it'd be easy to put on last. It just has a slight edge on that guide. Let me see what the other one looks like. Because if it's one that has a wide double edge, and it may be harder to put on. Nah, well, that's the exact same. Same style, so it's being more difficult one with the other. Versus where sometimes you have to put it behind something else. So this one says to go in, it looks like this hole right here. Yeah, that feels right. I'll check the chain a little bit. Huh, I'm surprised it doesn't have a, oh, because the plunger goes there. I gotcha. It's so strange that there's a plunger style tensioner on bolted to the head itself. I don't know why I find that weird, but I do. I don't remember working on any other vehicles that have a tensioner mounted to their cylinder head that I can recall anyway. So we'll tighten this, torque this down to 18 foot-pounds, it says. Okay. 18 foot-pounds. 18.1. That will just come up here when it's ready. All right, then we have our second shoe bolt. So this one came with the bolts. Okay. That looks like fits there well. Yep. And there is the ledge on the inside of this plastic slide mount on the top here to hold it in place. So you have to make sure it's lined up on the inside, on this side of the edge. And these will be 18 foot-pounds. Okay, it's already still dialed in. Let's see where we're at on our timing mark then. Oh, that'd be one over. Right there. Could put a piece of tape on there. But it looks like it'll be fairly, yeah, it goes right on there. So once I move that other shoe up, it should be good. All right. 18 in a second. All right. 18.1 or 18.2. 18.3 or more. That one. And this is going to come here with the tensioner. So, tensioner with gasket on here. And bolts. There's the oil. So you go here. I'll look at the plunger too. Move this up here and make sure we're lined up. Now, yeah, so this is on the same area right there. We have the yellow link and the orange mark. Okay. And we're going to tighten our plunger down. So the other way we know we're accurate, even though GM says use the dots, circles, it wouldn't work on here, and it only works with triangles on the aftermarket milling design. Not only because of the R's, and we're on the right side, but also those cams. So that camshaft tool would not have worked in this orientation if they're rotated back to where this L, the dot, and this L, the dot were oriented a different way. So that wouldn't work. So just keep that in mind. If you bought the milling set, you actually don't use the two dots, but the two triangles. If your actuators look like this, and also it'll only work out with your timing holding tool on there, camshaft holding tool. Which I can see we could get into trouble if you just didn't use your tool and you're eyeballing it, and then you use the two dots, you'd be out of time. And this has a ledge here on this inside lip here. I call it outer. This would be outside lip for this. There's an inside lip on this shoe. So make sure both are lined up there correctly. Double check my time mark there. We're good. Alright, as before, we're going to just tighten it down to hand tight and let it the weight of the wrench, hold it, and a couple taps. All right, that's gonna be our make-believe 44 inch-pound. Verify, we're still going at 18 foot-pounds, so that's accurate. Just check the sheet. Okay. All right, let's probably have us release the pin. Tighten the bolts down. Tensioner plunger if you need to reset it. Release the tighten the tensioner and the bolts in 2 passes. Release the secondary chain tensioner. Pull out the pin. I'm gonna check one more time because I'm releasing my pin. Okay, we're all lined up, and we're good. All right, that is the end of our timing chain specific components. We still have all the BBT solenoids to put in. Probably just a little oil in this, and go from there. So, a little piece of wood. Okay. That's good. We're okay in there. Last and least, my least favorite side. It just hangs on the bottom of it only. There we go. Okay. Take that out. Okay. Timing marks, and the dots. Come down. Look through your sight. It should be the very center of the yellow link in here. We're centered. We've got both our yellow link here and our yellow link here pointing directly at the tooth that has this indicator as a triangle. Currently, since we rotated into stage 2, we can still see the line of sight here. We've got our orange dot on our crank sprocket, we've got the yellow link here, and we've got our orange corresponding mark on our oil pump. We have this yellow link for our secondary right side. Here's our orange mark here on the back sprocket of the idler. And last but not least, in our case, the R, and the R with the indication triangles on actuators. So this should be perfectly in time. We've already torqued down all of our bolts, which I prefer to do it in order and not have to go back over them. I feel more comfortable having it done each step of the way, because I have been known to get interrupted from work or you name it, and then forget which step I am on. So that prevents that. So we'll go ahead and stop this video now on the timing chain aspect and come back together with the rest of the solenoids. We've got the water pump. We'll have to make a seal for our timing cover. Now my timing cover doesn't look great, and I didn't have it cleaned and or painted, so it is what it is on that one. Thanks for hanging in there.